Hey, honey.
Yes, Barry?
Let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Este ritmo de palmas, sin naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler, and I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants here. Those are the Lapa Lapa, Puerto Vallarta's oldest restaurant on the famous Los Muertos Beach, and the El Dorado Restaurant and Beach Club right next door. So you can enjoy that fantastic view of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors, or during the day in its grand splendor for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's just so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week we are going to be celebrating the reopening of bars in Puerto Vallarta after the pandemic. We're going to visit a very well-known bar. It's located right on the Malecon, right on the boardwalk in town, and that is the Devil's Bar. We're going to talk with Melinda James. Melinda owns the bar along with her husband, Alan, and we're going to find out what's going on at that popular and always hopping bar. I spoke with Chef Mavi Graf. She's going to come on the show. She does cooking classes. I've had her on the show before. And now she's doing online classes during the pandemic. We're going to get an update from her about her classes, and we're going to also talk to her about what's happening at the Marina Vallarta, where she lives. But before we get to Mavi and Melinda, let's see what's happening this week in Puerto Vallarta, the 31st of August, 2020. A couple days ago, we had Hurricane Hernan came by, and basically a tropical storm. There was a lot of heavy flooding, and the municipalities of La Manzanilla and Puerto Vallarta were both pretty heavily hit. And yesterday, we got a huge rainstorm that caused flooding and rivers to overflow, massive landslides south of Puerto Vallarta. Reports of landslides from Boca de Tomatlan to Yalapa and beyond Chimo. Also, lots of flooding up in El Tuito. And they really had a wild night. Things seem to have gotten back to normal again. A lot of flooding even down in town. Nothing, the banks of the river did not overflow this time, but came pretty close. Lots of rain is happening right now, although today is quiet. Vallarta Food Bank is getting ready to assist. I have a link once again to Vallarta Food Bank. They are always ready on the ground to help these vulnerable communities and give them what they need when these particular occasions occur. And let me tell you, it's hurricane season. We're getting a little bit of a reminder of the havoc that Tropical Storm Narda wrecked last October, if you remember that. And anyway, we've got this current storm system passing by, and there'll be many more because this is a very active hurricane season, and we hope for the best for Puerto Vallarta as always. Now, last week I was telling you I was making plans to return to Puerto Vallarta at my earliest convenience, and I made reservations actually for November 7th for about 7 days, because my wife is starting to get a little suspicious about my love affair here with Puerto Vallarta. But I told her, I said, it was $235 round trip from Los Angeles to Puerto Vallarta. It's so cheap. Come on, you come with me. And she looked at me and said, no, that's all right. Go ahead. So anyway, if you live in the LA area, I mean, check out the fairs. It's pretty crazy. If you can snag a cheap flight, the folks in Puerto Vallarta are waiting for you. They want you to return to paradise. Now, speaking of my wife wondering about me, I did manage to break my quarantine with her. I successfully gave her a kiss without causing permanent damage with the Rona. So both she and I are healthy, and we're happy, just in case you're wondering, Now, last week I told you I was going to tell you a story about an adventure that I had with Salvador Estrada. Salvador is the candy man. He is the marathonista who sells candy and cigarettes from his wheelchair over on the Malecon next to those three loud clubs. So I was talking with Salvador one night, and he was telling me about his house up in Paso Ancho. Now, he's been trying to get me up to his house for some time now. He wants me to build an apartment for myself right above his house so that I always have a place to stay in Puerto Vallarta when I move there. That's what he tells me. And anyway, from his house, Salvador can hear the music from the El Rio barbecue. And as well, he says that he can see that rock face, that big wall that the sound bounces off of. That's right next to the river, which is right next to El Rio Barbecue. And if you haven't been to El Rio Barbecue, I'll put some pictures there so you can see what I'm talking about. It's a beautiful place. So anyway, I asked him, since I'm coming over this Saturday to check out my future home in Puerto Vallarta, the one I'm building above your house, how about you and I go and see the Tres Cuartos playing over at El Rio Barbecue? And then I'll treat you to a rib lunch, and we'll listen to some great music. So Salvador, he sat there just for a couple of minutes, and he was thinking about it. He was thinking about, how am I going to make this happen? When you don't sit in a wheelchair all the time, you don't realize how much strategizing goes in. And planning goes in to something that he needs to do to make something like that happen in Salvador's life. So, after thinking about what he needs to do, he says, okay, yeah, I can do it. I'm going to have to make some arrangements with my nephews, but he said, yeah, this can happen. So Saturday arrived, and I took an Uber over to Salvador's house. Now, if you're familiar with the El Rio Barbecue, you take this bus, it drops you off, and it continues to go straight up this hill. Anyway, El Rio is almost like on a corner, and right on the corner there, next to El Rio, is like a liquor store. And if you were to go from the street there and go straight up, one block, and then jag over a little bit, and then go straight up again, another block, and then turn right, you would be turning right into Salvador's driveway. That's where his house is. So it's just like straight up, right above El Rio Barbecue. And his family's property is decent size. There's a stream that runs through their property. There's about 5 small structures on the property, and each one belongs to a family member. So he points to a place that has a second story being added to it, and he says that's my house there underneath, and that second floor is something that we're building, and the third floor is going to be yours. All you have to do is build it, he says. So, and then he points to the house that he was born in, where his mom is. And he tells me, hey, go up there and introduce yourself to her. And so I did. Walked up to this house. There's no doors or windows on this house, just openings in the cinder block construction. So his mom is bedbound. She was under some blankets, even though it was like hotter than Hades. And it was August. It was an August afternoon, and this sweet old lady, I'm going to guess that she's about 80 years old or so. We talked just for a short time, and I told her who I was, and Salvador was my friend, and I'm from California, and it was good to meet you. And then I walked back to Salvador, Anyway, Salvador, his house is interesting. The property, there's like these ramps that are built from concrete. They kind of crisscross the property. They're really, really steep. I mean, they're so steep that he couldn't possibly like get on it with his wheelchair without the help of somebody else, so that he could get around the yard. He explained to me that the city had come in and that the city had put in ramps for him, these ramps. And he was grateful for the ramps and the work that, the people did, even though that they're so steep that he can't use them without the help of others. It's like, I don't know if I took pictures. If I did, I'll put them in the show notes. But he explains that his neighbors were jealous because, the city was doing all this work for him at his house. And, of course, if it's due to his disabilities, but, the neighbors, he's saying the neighbors thought that he was like getting all this, done because he was like a famous like drug dealer or something, he could get the city to do all this work for him. Anyway, I'm just looking at all this. I'm trying to figure out how can I install some pulleys and how about a track so Salvador can, do it himself. I'm trying to figure this out. And at any rate, he says, hey, check out your place. So anyway, I looked over at the house and I noticed it's got this pretty good sized hand-built ladder that's leaning against the building, leading to the incomplete second floor. So I sized up the ladder, trying to determine how long it's been leaning there, unused. And so I figured I had a 60-40 chance of success. And because I was covered with proper traveler's insurance, I was pretty sure that, this fall wouldn't classify as a COVID case. So I decided, okay, I'm going to go with it. So I scrambled up the ladder and then I took a look at what my view would be when I, put the third floor on. And nice. You can see the rock wall across the canyon where the El Rio barbecue is. And yeah, I got a chance to inspect my future home there in Paso Ancho. Anyway, the bird's nest of birds' nests, if you ask me. I gave Salvador my thumbs up, and came down. Luckily, I made it down without breaking anything. And so we were getting ready to go. He told me that he had never been to the barbecue, the El Rio barbecue, since they built the place. He did explain to me that when he was a kid, he and his friends used to walk down the hill, down to the river. They would take inner tubes from tires, and then they would float down the river and have a great time. So anyway, yep, he says, are you ready? And I said, yep, let's go. And so earlier in the morning, actually he had called me to let me know that his girlfriend had taken the van out to get it fixed. The starter was not working on the van. So he did have other plans. He had plans to get down the hill. He wasn't going to let the fact that the van wasn't there stop him. So he had his two nephews. Maybe actually there were three nephews. They helped out. So here's how they did it. They wheeled him to the street, and then he had the nephews, they tied ropes to like the footrests on his wheelchair. So like the front part of his wheelchair. So these two nephews, I'm guessing there's like a 12-year-old and a 13-year-old, and they're holding onto the rope, and he is facing backwards. So he's looking back up the hill, and they are walking down the hill. And then there's a third nephew. I'm guessing that he was around 18 years old, and he was walking in front of the chair, to keep Salvador from rolling down the hill. And so the three of them very, very carefully are guiding this wheelchair backwards all the way down this steep hill. It was amazing, you guys. So finally, we got to the bottom of of the hill and got to El Rio Barbecue. And anyway, he reaches into his pocket to pay his helpers. I told him to put his money away, and I gave him some money, and I said, "Go have some fun." Then I wheeled Salvador down to the tables along the river there, ordered some ribs and some fries and some drinks, and we sat back and we enjoyed the music of Los Tres Cuartos. And I would say that this was a Saturday, and it was about a third full. There were about a third of the tables that had people at them. So, it was not a busy day at El Rio, and usually it's packed when Wario is playing with the boys. But it was pandemic time, and so it was good. He put on a great show. And Salvador was watching the kids down in the river, and he noticed that they were using inner tubes just like he did when he was a kid, and they were enjoying the time floating down the river just like he did when he was a child. And he loved the ribs. His girlfriend showed up not too long afterwards, and she joined us for lunch. And we had just a great time. And, of course, Salvador finally got his chance to visit El Rio Barbecue. And I got a chance to see how my friend lives, and got a chance to experience the difficulties and the challenges that Salvador faces on a daily basis. So very, very interesting. And if you do see Salvador on the Malecon, make sure you buy some candy from him. Tell him that, give him your best. Tell him, hey, he's got to get on his bike again and start doing the marathon thing again. He's put that off right now because his girlfriend is going through some chemotherapy, and so he has been kind of putting that off for a while. So we'll think good thoughts about Salvador, and think good thoughts about his pareja, about his girlfriend. Now, JR is going to start once again over at Kelly's Por Favor Saloon and Cookhouse. He's going to begin his meet and greets. He's going to be coming out of seclusion starting this Tuesday, September the 1st at 6:30. And if you're in town, you need to stop in and scare the crap out of him. Get over there and tell him, hey, come on, give me a hug. Anyway, yeah, it's glad to see that JR is getting out and mingling with the vacationers again. We all need to get out and live life. Now, last week I had a question about the pot sellers and the guys selling pipes and coke and cigars over on the Malecon there near Lazaro Cardenas Park. And I wanted to say something to you about that, but I still think that we need to wait until next week. So we'll talk about that next week. Now, Babble Bar. Some bad news about Babble Bar. They're closing. They have closed. Here's a Facebook post breaking that sad news. It reads, "Hi all, friends of Babble. Today I'm writing you to tell you the sad news that we will not open Babble Bar again. It's been a tough decision, but necessary for our family in the current times. We don't want to leave without thanking so many people for all the support and affection giving that made us build this wonderful thing that Babble Bar has been. To all the team of Babble for their effort and professionality, all our customers and friends, and of course, to our musicians who brought the magic to the island of the River Quale. These have been 3 wonderful years, and we will always remember this important stage of our lives. We don't say goodbye, but see you soon. We'll bring Babble spirit to the new projects that are to come." So, that's sad. We wish Arancha and her family and all of our friends over at Babble Bar the best. I really loved that space. The music was great there. It really brought the island to life. Right over there by the cultural center, right in the back of the island. Anyway, when I was there a couple weeks back, they were giving the island a big facelift. They were taking loads of broken concrete, actually, off of the island, truckloads of it. I stopped and I spoke with the watchmaker, and he told me that they moved all the cats off the island and that they were doing a big improvement project there. And, at that time I was thinking that this probably would affect the folks over at Babel Bar, and I guess my hunch was correct. I hate it when that happens. Anyway, last time I was in touch with Arancha, they had a project they were working on in El Tuito. So anyway, I'll follow up with her in November. And speaking of restaurants that will be missed, El Arian is also out of business. They just couldn't keep up with what was going on with the paying of the rent and the utilities and the employees. So Carmen and crew had to close the restaurant. Now, she is still going to be giving cooking classes, so stay tuned, and we'll follow up with Carmen Porras and see what she has planned for us in the future. Last week, we were talking about the reopening plans of hotels, and we noted that they were restricted to 25% occupancy rate. Well, right now, the rate has been increased from 25%. It's been doubled to 50%. So Puerto Vallarta is preparing to take on more visitors from the United States and national visitors as well. So it's moving. They are opening up to tourism. Speaking of hotels, it looks like things are bouncing back that we thought maybe might even be gone forever. The buffet breakfast. Not just any breakfast, not just any buffet, but the fabulous brunch over at the Sheraton Hotel has not gone away. Not all is lost. They are still doing it. I think it's on Sundays and believe Saturdays as well. So make sure that you make sure they're open if you are going to go and drop by. But hey, the word is that they are going again. All right. There's more, but let's get with the interview, shall we? I got a message from listener Tracy. She writes, "Oh, by the way, if you sent me an email, the responses are coming right away. I'm just slammed with work since I got home. But anyway, this is one that I got from Tracy, and it goes like this. Hey, Barry, Handsome Hubs and I look forward to your podcast every week. Love to hear you have been able to go back and enjoy. But we are getting ready to make our December, January, and February reservations. We go 3 times, 5 days, 10 days, and 10 days till we retire in a couple years. Can you tell us what it's like at this time in the marina area and at the hotels? We stay at the Marriott, and we really don't have a clear picture of what services are up and running there. I tried asking on the PV everything you need to know page, but my post was rejected. Looking forward to your next trip and podcast. Thanks so much for all the sunshine you bring us, Tracy." All right, Tracy, thank you for that. I didn't make it to the marina, but I did reach out to Mavi Graf, who lives in the marina, and she also does cooking classes out of her home at Marina Vallarta. I've had Mavi on the show, and I think it's about time that we caught up with her just to see what she's doing during the pandemic. And, of course, Tracy, we're going to find out what's happening at the marina, see what's opening there. So let's go right now over to Marina Vallarta, and let's visit our friend, Chef Mavi Graf. All right, Mavi.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for coming on the show. How you doing? How's your family?
Oh, the family's all doing well. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
good.
you. They are all fine.
Everybody's healthy.
Everybody. Oh, yes. So that's the first thing. Yes, we are all healthy, and we are all trying to keep healthy. I think that's our main goal. right now, keeping ourselves healthy and riding this as much as possible.
Yeah. So
On top of it.
yeah. So I've watched you. You're doing cooking classes, but you're not doing them with people live anymore. You're doing them like a Zoom. What are you doing there?
Yes, I use Zoom. Well, Barry, we had to adapt.
Yeah.
At the beginning when this whole pandemic started, I think my last class was in March 12th. But by March 13, my husband and I decided that we were going to keep ourselves in the house and not going out anymore if it was not necessary, and keeping our social distance. So we have been at home since the first days of March. I start receiving all these cancellations for all my reservations for cooking classes. As you know, I give private cooking classes at home, and all my caterings. And so all of my work for the following 4 months was canceled in a matter of a week.
Yeah. Wow.
So I found myself with a lot of time and nothing else to do. So at the beginning, I thought that it was a sign from the universe that I needed to take a break.
Sure.
So
We all thought that.
So I said, okay, we need to take a break. And my husband and I said, well, we have all this amazing food in the refrigerator and the freezer. And I was going to be having few tasting menus in the following weeks after March 13. So I have amazing wines, and I have a lot of very good things in the freezers and refrigerators. So we decided for the next month that we were going to just live it up.
Yeah.
And I cook any kind of amazing meal, and we drink amazing wines. But after 1 month of doing that, we were like, we cannot continue.
No, you'd blow up. You'd be like this blimp. We wouldn't recognize you, Mavi.
Like, we cannot continue doing this. I mean, it's too exhausted to be in a permanent party.
Yeah.
So since I'm not a person that just can sit and watch or expect life to happen, I knew that I needed to get back in the kitchen and with people. I really, really miss the human connection.
Yeah.
So since we did FaceTimes with the children, and then we did a Zoom with another couple that invited us to catch up, I was like, well, I wonder if this will work. So I talked to my daughter that she's very savvy in this technology and marketing and social media and all that. So I talked with her, and she helped me set up an account with Zoom, and we started advertising that I was going to have cooking classes online. And it has been a life-saving for me in many ways than one. More than anything, because I'm back in the kitchen and I'm doing what I love the most doing. And if I cannot hug and kiss people, at least I'm cooking with them,
Yeah. So it's therapy for you too, isn't it?
Oh gosh, yes, it is. It is awesome. So it has been good. It has been fun. It's not the same, definitely, but it's the best. It's the next best thing.
Yeah, it's what you're able to pick things up and make it work for you. I mean, So what did you have to learn? What are the things what's the hardest thing that you have to do?
Redoing my recipes. I do not like computers a lot. And so I have to sit down at my computer and go back to all my recipes to be able to make them in less time, because normally my classes are 2 hours for shopping and 4 hours for cooking and enjoying. Now I have to make them in 45 minutes to an hour. So all of that have to be rearranged.
Sure.
All my recipes, and that obviously it requires for me time to spend by the computer, which I think I mentioned it before, right? I don't like to do that.
Yeah, well, listen, we're all doing a whole lot more of that nowadays, I got to tell you.
Yes, I
Whether we
know.
like it or not.
And actually, it's a blessing to be able to do this because can you imagine if this will have happened 50 years ago? My God.
Oh, yeah, you could never do this. Well, so how's the response been? I mean, what you getting a lot of cooking class engagements?
Actually, yes. I for a couple of days at the beginning, I did a cooking class by myself because two people wanted just a recording, and that is different.
Uh-huh.
You know, when you don't have anybody but um, but looking at yourself, and
Yeah.
that's not the same because in the classes, even if people are in California or in Toronto and I'm here, we talk and we have a conversation. So anyway, with the classes, I it has been with the online classes. It has been a learning experience of how to do that. That communication and dealing with technology and having to have lamps in my kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, all that.
It's a full on production. You know, you watch you, and I mean, I watch you, and I go, wow, and you actually you perform too. Now you've always been a little flashy in the kitchen, right? So that's okay. You're good at that, but it's like, you know, you have to do something a little different. So I'm just so impressed. I'm really impressed with this.
Oh, thank you, thank you. As I said, you know, it has been a life saving thing for me because it has keeping me sane a little. Otherwise, as you say, my husband will be rolling all over the place.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, just cooking and drinking and having a good time. I mean, you know,
Yes.
you're in paradise. So this is good. It's all a great little combo.
And anyway, we continue eating very well because whatever it is that we're having at the class,
Yeah, you're
that's
not
going to be
sharing
our
it.
dinner.
You're not sharing it via video there. So you're going to have to eat it when it's all done. So there you have it. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reached out to you because I got a message from one of my listeners, and she was wondering about what's going on because they're planning on coming in December and January and February. They spread it out, but they want to know if there's any restaurants that are open. What's going on over in the marina?
Well, they were closed for a while, as you know. The whole industry was closed for a couple of months. They reopened some in June and some others in July. Right now, some of the restaurants open only for the weekends, for example. Some others are open daily, and people are starting to come. We just went through the nationals coming on vacation. You know, Mexican families come on vacation in the summertime.
Yeah.
And they did. And as I'm seeing it here, I live right in front of the marina, so I'm seeing everybody pass by here.
Yeah.
And so the restaurants, are having not a lot of people, obviously, but they are having a little bit of business. Some more than others, definitely. But I can see most of them open today.
So who's open? Who's open that you can tell us?
Okay, I see, for example, Portobello is open on the weekends,
Okay.
and which is the Italian restaurant that has been here in Marina for about 25 years or so. In the Marina, Route 66, which is very popular with a lot of the people or the North Americans that come to winter here in Vallarta, is very popular. The restaurant, it's like a diner. It's open too. They even have music on Saturdays and Sunday, a live band.
Good.
And there is a seafood restaurant that is called Sticky Fingers, is also open. And El Torito, famous El Torito from downtown, they have a restaurant here in the marina and it's open as well. So La Terraza, the Italian restaurant at the end of the marina, I mean, the one that is killing it is Sonora Grill.
Oh, yeah?
We have not gone in restaurants, my husband and I, but when I pass by there, that I go to the market or something, those guys are busy.
Busy, busy.
Busy.
All right.
Well, they were probably last month. The all when the nationals were vacationing.
Yeah.
You can see a lot more people there than in others. I think that we will like the people do return to Puerto Vallarta. We miss definitely having the tourism here. Our town hurts when tourism doesn't come. We definitely live out of tourism, and we need people vacationing to survive, to make our living, and to support our families.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how so many people that haven't been able to provide in the last months are doing. So I think that people will be fine on coming down, keeping their common sense, more than anything, common sense. And my husband and I, during this time, we received our granddaughter, and it was kind of a nervous time for us because she was traveling by herself. She's only 10 years of age, but we have promised that she will do her first trip by herself and come to be with us for a month. So she did it, and we were kind of nervous, because she was going to go through 2 different airports before getting here.
Yeah.
But we had a great time. Thank God we have a pool, so we swim a lot and we cook a lot. We did one horseback riding thing, just the 2 of us, so it was really beautiful. And there are things that you can do that even during quarantine, you can do things that you can enjoy your life and do a little bit of exercise and feed your soul by doing things outside. Like we rented a couple of water bikes. How do you call them? The jet skis.
Jet skis, yeah.
And I mean, and we enjoyed it, and we kept after she left, we kept ourselves like again 14 days without getting out to make sure that so she left almost 3 weeks ago, so we're fine.
Very good.
And I'm glad that she came because we had a great time with her.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, you have to have kids. You have to have kids in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I make my kids hug me. I want you to know that, just so you know that. Let's see here. What else did I want to ask you? What did you want to add?
About coming in the winter, Barry.
Yeah.
I really, really will like people to consider coming back. If you are going to be doing very limited social life in the country that you are at, and you're going to be exposed to very very bad weather, like too cold and snow and ice and things like that, why don't you come and do it here? There is so many ways of spending that time and enjoying your life.
Exactly.
Without having to
nature and social distancing that can happen.
Social distancing and I mean keeping always carrying a mask with you whenever you are about places with other people, and keeping that safe distance that you are supposed to keep. But I think that people should return, and as much as obviously as they can.
I agree.
There are some people that are nervous.
There's people that are nervous, and I tell people, if you got it. It's all a matter of comfort, and that's the one thing that everybody asks me. What about the plane ride? And everybody's afraid of the plane ride. And I have to say, the airplane ride was probably to me, I felt very safe there. The air, they were circulating the air. You could feel that they all were very concerned. Everybody was wearing masks, and that was the least concerning of my whole trip, I got to tell you. So,
I think that definitely if we all keep our common sense and take care of that protocol that we need to have this protocol. I think that if we all do our part, we're gonna be able to have a good season, you know.
Yeah.
It is important that we know that this virus that we have here, this COVID-19, is going to be with us for a while. So we better adapt to living within the rules that we need to live to be able to ride this wave and be able to be safe and well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And part of that is enjoying life.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no way that you can keep healthy if you don't put a little bit of joy in your life. You might do and eat your greens and exercise and things like that, but if you don't add joy to that discipline, physical discipline, it's not gonna be the same.
It will not be joyful. It will not be happy.
Yeah, and we need to keep a little bit of joy in our
Oh,
life.
don't we ever. Don't we ever. All right. So, Mavi, tell everybody how they can join you in a cooking class online.
Okay, I have group classes every day from Tuesday through Friday. We have a class at 7 p.m. In which we do a dish or two. On Tuesdays we have the popular Taco Tuesday, and on Wednesday we have one Mexican dish. On Thursday we always have something international. And on Fridays, we have two classes, one baking and at 12 o'clock, and we have happy hours. That is a very popular class, let me tell you.
I'll bet.
Because we all make a cocktail, and then we cook a couple of appetizers. So it's really fun, and I usually have 9-10 different connections, which is really great. That is probably one of the most satisfying things that I have lived throughout this pandemic. There is being able to be in my kitchen, cooking with so many other people in so many different cities, so far away from here.
Right, and
That is a miracle.
it is amazing, and happy
Yes.
hour too. So, do you guys tell dirty jokes and stuff like that? And no.
But no,
Oh,
we
no.
try to dance. We try to dance and sing. So no, it's
Excellent.
safe. And I do also give private classes. So if anybody is interested, they should check out my website. I don't know if you noticed, but I changed my website. My website is chefmavi.com. That's simple. That easy.
It's very simple. All right. Excellent.
Yes.
All right, Mavi. Well, it's great. Thank you for coming on the show. Thanks for sharing with us. And thanks for letting us know what's open there on the over in the marina, and telling us about your classes. Everybody, go learn how to cook. Come on.
Thank you so very much, Barry. Have a good day and stay safe and come back and see us.
You bet. All right. Thank you, Mavi. And thank you, Tracy. Thank you for your questions. Now, that other question about the hotels, I think I covered that earlier. Right now, they are at 50% capacity. And my guess is that by the time you get there in December, January and February, who knows, they may be up to full capacity by then. We won't know until until things happen. But we'll keep an eye on it. And if I hear anything, I will definitely be reporting on it as the weeks progress. I have a link to Mavi's cooking class in the show notes. Of course, you can find it at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. All right, so next we are celebrating the opening up of bars, right? Are we thirsty? Yes, of course we're thirsty. If we're in Puerto Vallarta, you're always thirsty in Puerto Vallarta. So during the pandemic, bars were asked to close, actually. And unless they serve food, most of them were closed for the entire time. So right now, the government is allowing these watering holes to open up with proper protocols, with proper cleaning and proper spacing out of people. And of course, we're all into spacing out when we're into bars. That's why we go there anyway. But this bar is a fun bar. It's called the Devil's Bar. And it's located right on the Malecon. It's not far away from the bridge that crosses over the Rio Quale. And it sits right on the Malecon where Calle Agustin Rodriguez dead ends right into the Malecon. The place is always busy. It has a college football kind of a feel to it. It's got all the colors. It's got memorabilia and an air of the Arizona Sun Devils, the college football team, all around it. My buddy D actually suggested that I talk with Melinda James. Melinda is the female in charge over at the Devil's Bar. The male in charge is her husband, Alan. And the two of them have built this consistently good, friendly, comfortable bar with a killer view of the Bahia de Banderas. It is a perfect people-watching spot for those in need of a good adult beverage as they make their way along the boardwalk along the Malecon. And, well, without any further ado, let's just take you right to the Malecon in Puerto Vallarta, the boardwalk, and let's find out about this little piece of Americana located on a corner next to a tequila tasting shop and a leather boot store, and with a picture-perfect ocean view. Let's meet Melinda James, and let's learn about her place, the Devil's Bar, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Melinda, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and what was your path that led you to Puerto Vallarta?
So I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas, and my husband and I were living in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we'd come down to Puerto Vallarta like 2 or 3 times a year for 20 years and just absolutely loved it. And one day he just looked at me and said, "You want to move?" And I said, "Absolutely."
Wow.
And so now here we are, 13 years later.
13 years.
Yes.
So were you ready to retire? What was your plan? Were you actually going to open a business? Was that in your mind?
Yes, we had to open a business because we were not of retirement age or of the ability to retire at that time. And so we weren't really sure what we were going to do. We'd done a little research and decided, coffee and donuts. Started with an ice cream store, and then a tequila store and a bar, and now we are just down to the bar, which is very nice.
I bet it is.
Yes.
Now, when you had that, when you started with the ice cream and coffee and donuts, where was that?
It was in our same location here on the Maleconcito, and when we first got the location, it was just half the size that it is now. And so we started ice cream there and donuts and coffee. And then we opened the bar 3 locations down. And when we got the space next to it, we were able to open it up. And then we just flip-flopped them and put the ice cream down and then put the bar on the corner.
Right. And, this bar on the corner gets a lot of attention. Every time I walk by, there's excitement happening here.
Yes, we're very fortunate. Both my husband and I went to ASU. And,
all right, tell everybody what ASU is.
Arizona State University in Tempe, Arizona. And so we're Sun Devils. So we decided to call the bar the Devil's Bar. And we've been very fortunate that so many people come down and travel from ASU, and they recognize it, and they're excited. Oh my gosh, a little piece of home in Mexico. So everybody stops by and has a drink.
So that's a big pull, right? Just the name itself,
yes.
And the fact that you've got the Arizona Sun Devil, memorabilia and all that stuff hanging around.
Exactly. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Jake Plummer's tweeted about us. We've had 3 people from the Rose Bowl football team come in, professors.
No, they don't drink, do they?
No one drinks.
Okay,
Absolutely not. We're all teetotalers.
What? Who's the most famous person that ever stopped at your bar?
I'm terrible at names. My husband remembers everybody.
Oh, okay.
So I'm probably not the one to ask
all
that
right.
one. But we've been very fortunate to have a few people come by.
I
so,
bet, right?
yeah.
Because it's kind of like a little piece of home on the Malecon, right?
Right,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Very interesting. What's your most popular drink over there at the Devil's Bar?
Margaritas.
Margaritas.
And we make everything fresh fruit. Everything's made to order. It's delicious. And we've always been said that we have the best margaritas in PV. And it's true.
And it's true.
Yes,
All right.
it is. Very much so.
All flavors, obviously, all that stuff.
Yeah, fun stuff. We do mango jalapeno. We'll do a pineapple habanero.
No.
Cucumbers, yes. All kinds of fun
wow,
stuff.
that sounds good.
Prickly pear, guanabana.
Yeah, no wonder people stop.
Yes.
Come on. All right. Do you serve any food there?
No, not anymore.
So what happens if somebody wants to eat? You let them come bring something to eat? If they
Absolutely. So they can either order it, they can bring it with them. People that are walking by selling oysters or fish on a stick or whatever, they can flag them down. So we're not very particular. Whatever you'd like is fine, as long as you're drinking with us.
It's good. All right. Is there a place around here that you like the best? That you would say, go down to wherever it is and get something to eat.
There's
somebody
a
looked like
couple,
they
there's
really
a
needed to.
Well, there's a couple of places. So a lot of people like to stay on the water and they want the view. So I like Vitea. It's really good
But that's
food.
not to-go food. I'm talking about to come in and sit at your bar.
Oh, and sit at my bar.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called. There's a taco stand just a block from us, and I tell everybody, oh yeah, go get tacos down there. They do a really good job. Quesadillas, chips and salsa, guacamole. So quick little things like that.
Right. Cheap, quick,
Yes.
and clean. Okay, you
Yes,
guys, you all know that you can eat on the street here in Puerto Vallarta. We'll talk about your favorite places to eat. So we'll get that in a little bit.
Okay.
We don't want to jump the gun right now.
Sorry.
That's okay. You see some crazy things, because people drink and stuff happens. So anything crazy you want to talk about?
We've been filmed a lot of times.
Oh, really?
Yes, people come in and they love watching everybody make the micheladas because a lot of people don't know what a michelada
All right,
is.
so let's talk about a michelada.
So it is kind of like a bloody beer. So it comes in a liter glass, and you can have several different ways, but basically Worcestershire, Maggi, salt, pepper, lime, clamato, and of course beer. And it's served in a liter glass with chamoy and tahine, and everybody loves it. It's a very popular drink here, very refreshing in the hot summer.
Uh-huh.
And it's fun to watch when we make it.
So the chamoy, is it spicy?
No, it's almost like a sweet and sour kind of taste.
It's a fruity kind of a chamoy.
Yeah, it's
All
not. Yeah, it's not. It's not hot.
It's not hot.
No.
Okay. Well, that's where you got the tahine, right? You got a little bit of that.
Yeah, so you get a little chili and lime on there, but it's not.
Not a spicy dish.
No.
Drink.
No.
Just
yeah.
one that'll probably knock you off.
Unless you wanted to, because
Right.
we can make it spicy.
You can do whatever you want, right?
Exactly.
We'll make it whatever
That's
way
what's
you want.
nice when it's made to order.
Yeah. What other than a michelada and a margarita? What is a traditional Mexican drink that you make?
Paloma.
Talk about palomas.
And so a lot of people are used to a paloma made with tequila and squirt or fresca. We do make it fresh. So it's we squeeze fresh grapefruit juice, add the simple syrup and the agua mineral or club soda, and tequila, salt, and you can do variations on that too. So if you wanted a pineapple one, or if you wanted a little different flavor added in there, we can do that too. But traditionally, grapefruit juice and tequila.
And tequila. That's your paloma.
Yes.
Are there any others other than straight shots of whatever?
Interesting enough, everybody loves drinking mojitos. I know it's more of a Cuban drink,
Yeah.
but we make a ton of mojitos here. And again, lots of flavors: blackberry, strawberry, mango.
What's the alcohol in the mojito?
Rum.
It's rum. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So what's your traditional mojito?
Lime, mint, simple syrup, rum, agua mineral.
Nice.
So.
milk straight from the cow. With the
Oh, the
straight
goat's milk with the tequila and yes,
Yeah, we won't go there because you don't do that.
No,
you don't
we
do that
not
at the
do that
Devil's Bar.
one. No.
Okay, I understand. That would be a hard sell.
Yes, it would.
Amongst
And
certain
a little odd if I had the
populations.
goat standing outside the bar.
I think we got something going here. All right, never mind. We won't go there.
another different.
Yeah, no, we don't want another different business, right? We've got enough of those going on, right?
Yes, that's for sure.
Okay. Let's walk away from the bar just for a minute. Let's talk a little bit about Puerto Vallarta. We always talk about food places, talk about going, to breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. It's really important to all of us. And so you've been here forever, so we're going to talk to you, and you're going to have all kinds of great answers, because all I get lately is, I eat at home, and I don't want that. I don't want to hear about that.
Don't worry.
Okay.
I eat at home, but we love to go out. So.
All right. So give us a few of your favorite breakfast places.
Breakfast?
Yeah. Don't tell me you don't eat breakfast. All right. If you had to eat breakfast.
I do eat breakfast. Actually, the thing is, since we do work, we actually wind up eating really close to here. But there's a place by my house called Alcatraces, family owned, and it's over by Costco.
Okay.
And it's delicious, all traditional breakfast. They're
Right.
open for breakfast and lunch, and it's delicious.
Okay. So that's, if you want like a traditional Mexican lunch, or I'm sorry, breakfast, you're going to go to Los Alcatraces.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And do they have a couple places? Do they?
They actually have, I think, 4 locations now.
Right.
One's in the marina. I think there's one on the main road. And then I think they opened one in Nuevo Vallarta a year ago.
Okay, but the one you suggest is the one over by Costco.
Right.
Okay. All right. How about any other breakfasts? No?
When I'm working, I go to places that are closer. So I go to Vitea and I go to Coexist because they do offer a great breakfast and the people are so friendly and it's close to my job.
Yeah.
So.
Good. Those are both great places.
Yeah.
How about lunch? I don't go to lunch because I work. I drink my lunch. What do you do? What do you do for lunch?
Well, it depends. So again, Vitea and Coexist because they're close. But then I also suggest Langosta Loca over on the other side of the bridge because it is a seafood place. It's on the beach. It's super casual, good prices, and really good food. And so it's
really?
nice. So
La Langosta.
Yeah, Langosta Loca.
Langosta Loca.
Langosta
What do you
Loca.
get? What do you get there?
I love shrimp, so I always go for a different fried shrimp or shrimp cocktail, shrimp la crema. There's just different things that you can get. So, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Good enough. Any other lunches? You could say no.
I'm gonna say I don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
I can't remember.
Well, that's all right. Don't worry about it. If it comes to you, you can just go ahead and blurt it out in the middle of this interview anytime. How about dinner?
Dinner, there's lots of really good places. Layla's, the chef was from Mexico City, and he used to be a private chef for Kathy Lee Gifford.
Really?
Yep. And they do a fabulous job. And when they started, their restaurant was small, and it was really cute. And now they've expanded in their building, so it was just the one floor. Now they're the 4 floors of the little building block off the beach. The other one I like is El Patron. It's another seafood place.
Yeah. Where is that? That's also in Cinco de Diciembre, isn't it?
No, it's where. On the other side of the Estadio.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so it's so up from the Sheraton as you're going up, and it's been there a long time. And again, another place where the food is fantastic. It's great prices. It doesn't matter what you order. Everything's really good.
Nice.
And La Vaca. La Vaca is. I love going for a steak there.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that's
La Vaca Argentina.
Argentina.
Yeah, it's over by the Isla.
Okay.
So,
all right.
yeah.
Across the street, I guess, from the
Yes,
Isla Mall there.
exactly.
Nice. All right. Good. Those are all great. Come on. Melody, you do good. You do great. You're eating well. Any hole-in-the-wall fondas? Any crazy little places that, you wouldn't expect to be good, but it's like, oh, wow.
I got to think about those because I do, and I love those, and we do those. There's a little breakfast place over here. My problem is I don't remember the names because, you stumble across it and then it's like, oh, wow, let's stop in here. Let's see how this is. I can't think of the name of it. But yes, there's lots of them.
There's tons of them, right? Just go ahead, take a chance.
Absolutely.
Go in there and sit down in their living room.
Usually you'll notice that there's people, quite a few people sitting there, and then that's the ones you want to go to.
Yeah.
The empty ones, you question.
No doubt. You've been here on the Malecon for a long time, and this is not really the Malecon itself, right? This is newer, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're called the Maleconcito, the tiny Malecon. And so they built this, oh, wow. I think it's probably 20 years now that this section has been here.
Yeah.
Originally, it was dirt and a park, and then that's where you would cross the river. At one time, you had to go down the stairs and cross on the sand. And then if the water was flowing, then they had a little boat that would go across.
Really?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's we've been here I think it's been here about 20 years. So they built the bridge, and then they remodeled the Malecon, resurfaced it, which was nice. It needed that. And so much better now.
Yeah.
And they did that about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that bridge, they've had to. Those bricks are kind of funny, right? Because
because they didn't fire them. They're
Is
not.
that what happened?
Yeah, that's what happened, and that's what happened on the Maleconcito. Is they weren't fired brick, and so when they used them, it just and then with the salt air and the water, they just deteriorated very quickly.
Right. So they're going to have to figure something out to do
they're
with
going
that
to have
pretty
to
soon.
they're going to have to redo that part as well.
Now, you are also pointing out that they had a couple issues building that bridge, right?
Yeah. So when it fell down. When they were building it fell down.
Wow.
And so, but now when they finally got it straightened out, it's been sturdy, and gosh, it's been there for, like I said, at least 20 years.
Yeah, through big floods too.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we had 2 tropical storms, big tropical storms this last October. So, yeah, they've withstood the weather. So.
Yeah, and the test of time, except for those darn unfired bricks.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the structure is sound, which is the important part. So.
Yes, remember, don't fear crossing the bridge. Really,
Yeah, no.
I mean, it is a little bit of a climb if you're going uphill, but other than that, it's good.
Yeah,
the
there isn't
downhill
any
is okay.
climb,
There's always a
yeah.
downhill. You used to have a landmark here, right here, and it was the golfer lady.
Yes, Lorena Ochoa. And so when she retired from the LPGA, she was at the top of her game. And she's originally from Guadalajara. And one of the reasons that they chose to put her here is that she's always been huge in the community here and giving to the community. So they wanted to honor her. So they put her statue here. And just recently, about a month ago, they moved her over to the marina by the golf course, which probably is where she should have originally been put.
Actually, yeah. Come to think about it.
But we did appreciate it, and they did a big ceremony when they originally set her here, and Lorena Ochoa came, and very nice, very shy, quiet woman, but yes.
What kind of tequila does she like?
That I don't know.
Oh, all right. I knew you thought, yeah. She for many for I don't know, a couple of years or so, or I don't know if it was a couple of years, at least a couple of months. She didn't have her golf club. It was like she was there, like swinging at with something with nothing.
Yeah, and everybody thought she was a baseball player at times. The way she was swinging without her club. One of the kids passing by was swinging on her club and broke it.
Oh.
And so, unfortunately, they had to repair it, take her away, fix her up, and bring her back, clean her up. And yes.
And now she's gone. Now she's gone to the golf course.
Yes, now she's gone to the golf
course.
course.
Well, now we'll just have to see what they're going to put there now.
Yes, it'll be exciting to see. I love all the statues on the Malecon, so it'll be nice to see what they decide.
All right. Well, I'll give everybody a heads up as soon as that happens? Maybe Melinda will tell me when that happens.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah, hopefully, right? It's kind of looking a little plain.
A little bare.
Yeah, well, it's all right. But you've got, we got passing Indians, for example, that are walking right past.
Yes, Mayan dancers.
Yeah, exactly. So you got all kinds of stuff to, I mean, you do see all kinds of stuff on this Malecon, right?
Yes, we do. You never know what you're going to see.
If you were going to leave Puerto Vallarta for a day and come back, like just a day trip, where would you go?
I actually do that quite often. Friends will come in and they want to see not only Puerto Vallarta, but other places that are close by. So I'll take people over to Mojito, and we'll take a day trip over there and to Tewa Mixto and El Cielito, and go over there, which is beautiful. That's a 9-mile beach that hardly has anything on it.
Yeah, just don't get in the water.
Yeah, you can still actually have fires on the beach there, which is cool. They have a campground and a small little hotel there, and a turtle rescue. And that's it.
Yeah. Wow. When I say don't get in the water, it's not because it's not clean, because the water is very clean. It's because it's open ocean, and you'll get swept away.
And it's very rough.
Yeah.
And yes, and there is a riptide and undercurrent, and it's very strong. So if you do not know how to swim in the ocean and in an ocean with a strong current, yeah,
don't even bother.
Be
Go to
very
Tewa
careful.
Mixle if you want to get in the water there. The bay there is calm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How about 3 days? Where would you go for 3 days?
3 days. Where would I go? Guadalajara.
Yeah. What do you
I
do when
love
you
Guadalajara.
go to Guadalajara? What do you do?
Shop.
Of course.
But no, so when we first went, it is a very beautiful city. And originally when we went, my mom had said that was her favorite city in the whole world every time. So when we moved here, my husband and I and our daughters went over, and it's beautiful. So we went and did all the sightseeing, went to the churches and everything. So, and it was beautiful. But yes, there is a very big market, and that was fun. And to shop at. Yeah.
All right, cool. Now, you mentioned your daughter. So you came here with young kids?
Not too young.
How old were
high
they?
school.
They were high school kids?
Yeah.
So they finished their high school here?
My younger daughter did her high school online, and she did her freshman year of college online. She didn't want to leave. She loves Puerto Vallarta and didn't want to go.
Yeah.
And but we said, yes, you need to go have the college experience. And so she went to NAU, Northern Arizona University, and Flagstaff, and got to experience snow.
Nice. Yeah. Well, good. At least for once in your life, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know anything about that.
Well, she loves it. She absolutely loved it. So.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Well, that's interesting because, I see a lot of younger families, a lot of younger American families coming down here, and it's interesting to see that, they're bringing their kids. And
yeah, well, actually, she was, I take that back. She was 8 when we moved.
Yeah?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was younger.
So there you go.
Yeah.
You forget.
I know.
How did you forget?
Do. I know.
No, we won't go there.
Age.
Oh, no, please don't. No. Shh. If you had a word of advice for a first-time visitor to Puerto Vallarta, what would it be?
To not be afraid. To go and try everything. Because Puerto Vallarta is a very safe city. It has great food. The people are extremely friendly. So go out there and talk to people and try the restaurants and explore, because it is beautiful and very safe.
Talking about safe, and we're talking about alcohol. There are a couple of stories out there about tainted alcohol. What's that all about?
Well, I thought that was interesting because if a bar is serving tainted alcohol, then how does 1 or 2 people only get affected? Wouldn't the entire bar and all of the other people that continue to come through have a situation or something happened? So I often question what really happened.
Right. They were probably one-offs, and it was somebody, whatever.
Or lots of times, people are on vacation, and they wind up drinking more than they normally do. or admit to, especially if you're younger, and so you never know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you just never know what the situation. But if the bars are serving tainted alcohol, I would imagine that would be a huge group of people that would be ill. And like Puerto Vallarta and a lot of the other cities in Mexico, we all count on tourism. So you don't want bad things to happen. And I always see everybody going out of the way to make sure that people are having a good time and are safe. So
Well, that's all I've seen. That's all I know.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think a lot of the times they are just overdoing it, having too much fun in Mexico. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. It's so beautiful and, vacation.
Yeah. Is there anything that you want to add? Is there something else that I'm missing here?
No, I think you covered everything.
Wow, I love
it.
Oh, good.
I love it here. You've covered everything, food and people, and no, it's a beautiful place, and everybody should come and visit. It's a great place to start. If you're afraid to come to Mexico, it's a good place to start. There are a lot of Americans that live here, but there's still a lot of nationals that are here, so it still has a lot of the culture of Mexico.
It does.
So good place to start.
Excellent. All right. So how do people find the Devil's Bar?
So we are on the Maleconcito. We're right by the parking garage, the Juarez parking garage, and Vitea Restaurant's on the opposite corner of us.
Okay, very good.
Right
That's
there.
easy. That's pretty easy. And you're on Facebook. You've got
We're on
you're
Facebook.
online.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And we answer our Facebook too.
You do?
Yes, we do.
All right, you guys. All right, well, I'll have the link to their Facebook page in the show notes. I'll have a picture here of Melinda. I'll have a picture of the pictures of the Devil's Bar, and I'll have a Google map that'll take you right to their front door. So no worries. Just go to the website at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com, and you'll find it all there. And it's been a real pleasure talking with you today, and I want to thank you so much for taking your time and letting me introduce you and the Devil's Bar to my listeners. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate it. So very nice to meet you and chat with you and share what we love about Puerto Vallarta. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you. All right. Thank you, Melinda. She knows a ton of stuff, doesn't she? And her restaurant picks, top notch, of course. That one Coexist, that's one of the places that I really, really love. I forget about it, too. When I go there, I got to go there more often, whatever, what can I say? I have links to all the places that Melinda talked about. And, of course, you will find them in the show notes at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. All right. Well, that should do it for this week. Next week, please stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant excursion ideas, and more. But until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, well, please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com. That's JR's website. Reserve your tour through him right from his website. Remember, this is a value for value proposition, my friends. His experience and his on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta. In exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you would do anyway, you're just doing it through him as a way of saying thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were going to use someone else, so do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off your message. And remember, don't forget he's got his maps, his DIY tours, his revitalized happy hour board, and more. And I've got links to all of those in the show notes. And once again, if you like this podcast, please take the time and tell some of your friends or subscribe. Give me a good review on iTunes. That way we can get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. and I made it easy for you to do just that with each episode I create. And if you haven't been to my website, you really need to go there. Have a look. I have links to the places that we talk about, I have interesting pictures and more right there in the blog posts and in the show notes for each episode of the show. So check them out for sure if you haven't already. All right. Thank you, Mavi Graf. Check out her online classes and make plans to start cooking with her again in person as the season gets rolling along. We'll have links to her right in the show notes. And thank you to Melinda James. I love the Devil's Bar, and you will too. The crowd's always having a good time. The view is the best. Remember, I have links to everyone right here, including pictures, all that good stuff, right in the show notes. And thank you all for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler, signing off with a wish for you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
De Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Solo camino eterno por la playa, me encuentro junto al río cuando todo está en calma. Pronto cae la noche, brillas Puerto Vallarta.